Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. I just recorded a video on my other phone like a minute ago talking about the new Texas Chainsaw movie. And I just watched a movie right after that, a movie that I found from someone on Reddit. I don't remember who. I think 2-3 different people said it. I made a Reddit post. Well, anyway, I made a Reddit post trying to find as many Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween knockoffs, parodies, spoofs, spin-offs, rip-offs, knockoff. I think I already said knockoff. And inspired, like homage films. Like films that are not blatantly ripping them off, but trying to pay respect, you know? I try to find as many films like that with those as possible, using that Reddit. And one of the films that got recommended was Unmasked Part 25, also known as The Hand of Death, also known as The Hand of Death Part 25, The Fear of Death, or Fear of something, I don't remember. It has 2 alternate titles, so 3 titles overall, but for the sake of this, I'm just going to call it Unmasked Part 25, because that's what I knew it as first. Although when I was watching it, the title that popped up was The Hand of Death, so I don't know what the title was actually supposed to be. It's not actually the 25th installment of a series. This is parody. It's a Friday the 13th parody, British parody, horror comedy. And I found it, and me and my girlfriend, we've been trying to watch all the Friday the 13th movies. And I said, this one looks fun, and people on Reddit said it was good, so we can watch this together at some point, maybe. Or maybe I'll watch it first, and then we watch it together later. I hadn't decided yet, so nothing was set in stone. Hope she doesn't get mad that I watched it without her, because we didn't settle on that. I don't know, we'll see. But now that I've watched the movie, the ending makes me not want to show her because it might upset her. So now I'm not sure. At least if we watched it together, we'd both be surprised at the same time, so couldn't get mad at me. But now, if I show her the movie and then she sees the ending and gets upset, I knew it was coming and I let it happen, so that would make me a dick. So I don't know. But I'll get into the ending later. Let me actually review the movie. Is it a good movie? Yeah. It's pretty good. It's not great, but it's not awful. I mean, if you don't like slashers and you think the whole genre is slop, then of course it's awful by your opinion, your standard. But by a slasher, and especially by a horror comedy slasher, it's pretty decent, pretty good. Had a couple chuckles, not full-blown laugh out loud, just some chuckles. So the movie is about a guy named Jackson. Of course, this guy is obviously a parody of Jason. He's British Jason. I don't know where that hiccup came from. Anyway, he's British Jason. I can't be doing that. I have a British friend that's offensive. He probably doesn't care. British. And they do kind of talk like that in this movie. I don't know if they're overblowing the accents for the sake of comedy, because Americans would find that funny, so I don't know. Or if this is actually how they all naturally talk. Maybe the British accents were stronger back in the 80s than they are now. My British friend I just mentioned, I've heard him speak. He has a British accent, but it's not like super strong and overly stereotypical, but I can tell it's there. I have another friend who's Scottish, but he does not sound Scottish at all. He actually lives near Loch Ness. He hates the Loch Ness Monster story. But he does not sound Scottish at all. If I didn't know any better, I would mistake him for American. That's neither here nor there. Point is, the accents were kind of over the top, but I kind of found that funny, so I like it. So the movie begins with a couple headed to a party, it seems. And I think they were going to have a threesome with one of her friends, it seems to imply. But then some crazy dude, the Crazy Ralph of the movie, says, "Don't go into that house. Evil who was born there has come back to haunt it," or something like that. And you think he's talking about the killer of the movie, Jackson. But I'll get back to that later. Of course, they don't believe him. They write him off as a crazy old drunk, and then they go in anyway. Then, while they go in there, the boyfriend starts to play a little prank on the girl, thinking he saw something. He was just trying to like give her a little scare. So then when he, cuts the joke and decides to, knock it off, another rando breaks, through like the wall with like a meat cleaver. But it turns out he was just some jackass pulling a dark joke. Yeah, that's not funny, dude. You could have actually hurt him. That prank's too far. So of course they're both rightfully mad at him, but he tries to warm up, like, hey, it was just a joke. Come on, can I join you? I got beer in my car. I can join your party. And they're like, fuck off, or piss off, or the British sayings. So they go to their party, and he goes back to his car and begins to drink some of his beer, while also he's going to start throwing rocks and other stuff at their window, I guess, to like a take that. And that's when we get the first kill of the movie. It's this jackass. The killer, Jackson, rips his fucking face off, bare hands. I was expecting a weapon to be the first kill of the movie, but no, bare hands. Grabs him by the face, rips it off. Hot damn. The effect is alright. It's not terrible. It's definitely, not the best 100%, but it's good for, the quality and the budget they had to work with, it seemed. It was a pretty decent effect, especially since it's supposed to be a comedy. It's kind of supposed to be funny, so if it looks a little off or a little bad, it kind of adds to the comedy, so it's fine. And, well, he fucking ripped his face off. Bam. Then it turns out he was actually part of the party. One of his friends, girlfriend, something, I don't remember what, was waiting for him to show up, and, he didn't come. So she went out to see if he's still there, and his car's still there, so they assume nothing's wrong. Meanwhile, while that's happening, the couple from the beginning of the movie wanders the place, because I guess they get bored, and they go down into the secret little basement, or secret little dungeon, whatever you call it, underneath area. And this is apparently where Jackson's been living. Jackson wears a goalie mask, similar to the one on one of the posters for Part 5. It's not the actual Jason mask, it's just a generic goalie mask. So I wonder if that's a reference to that poster, or if they just use it because it's a generic goalie mask and anyone can find it. I don't know. If that is a reference, then that's pretty cool. I like that. I tried to see if this movie was officially tied to the franchise at all, because they do mention Friday the 13th, and that mask is, actually shows up in the franchise on a poster. So I thought maybe there was like official connections. Maybe this was officially part of the franchise. Nope, unrelated. It's a parody. So I was kind of hoping it was connected, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, side tangent. So they go in there, explore. They have flashlights, but the room is clearly bright enough to see, so LOL, I guess. Maybe it's dark for them, but bright for the audience so we can see. But they look around, and the girl decides, I want to fuck on this bed. But then she's like, wait, hold on, stop, I gotta pee. And then he's like, oh, fuck, okay, hurry back. And they're just dicking around. Inside the room, when they were exploring it, they find... Damn, that's a loud truck. They find like a religious shrine, I think, of like the Virgin Mary and Joseph, I think? I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. It was some kind of religious shrine with candles. Anyway, after she goes to pee, he grabs something off the shelf. I don't know what it was. Shakes it to see if it's like empty or see if it has stuff in it. And when he tries to put it back on the shelf, the whole shelf collapses and almost damages the religious shrine thing. And he's like, bloody, piss, shit. Oh well. And then he thinks he hears something behind a curtain, so he grabs a spear and starts threatening, but then, there's nothing behind there. Obvious fake out. So he puts the spear back, but that's when Jackson finally shows up and fucking pushes him onto the bed and fucking bashes his face in with a shovel, and he accidentally breaks his light because, I forgot to mention, the guy turned the light on. Why do they have flashlights if they could just turn the light on? They're stupid. Anyway, bashed his fucking face in, and it was a pretty good effect. His face looked all crumpled. So then, the chick comes back, and she has no idea what's going on. She can't find her boyfriend, and she's like, stop playing a joke or whatever. And then he fucking slits her throat. He just grabs her and like, ah! The acting when she was getting her throat slit, and it was kind of, it's not the best, but it's kind of funny in a way. I don't know if the acting was bad on purpose to add to the comedy or if it was genuinely bad. Either way, it was funny. So, next, the other party members start getting killed off one by one, or two by two, because the next couple sneaks off to go have sex. Typical horror, typical slasher trope. And, see some boobs. That's good. That's what we expect from these kind of movies. What I didn't expect was not only man ass, but for a brief moment we see dick and balls. Holy shit, this movie is more progressive than any American slasher could ever be. And this was back in the late 80s. They mentioned bisexuals later in the movie, so they acknowledged them. So this movie is progressive. I like it. We got to see dick and balls, man. Even if it was only for a second. We got to see lady ass later, but we don't see vagina. Come on. Well, at least we got to see dick. Anyway, they start like dry humping. She never takes her panties off, so I doubt I'm pretty sure that was only the warm-up sex. They weren't getting to the real thing yet. It was dry humping. But they never get to the real thing because Jackson comes up behind him with a spear and stabs him. The spear stuck through the wall. So now that leaves only two people left. The lone girl, who I assume was supposed to be there with the drunk prankster who got killed at the beginning, or someone else. I'm not sure, but the other chick, the blind chick, her blind date was literal blind date. Her blind date never showed. I don't remember, but I think the guy that got killed at the beginning was supposed to be her date. Or something, I don't know. I don't remember, it doesn't matter. So she goes off to tell her other friends, hey, we're gonna catch a cab, the party's kind of dead, and yada yada, but she doesn't find anyone. She can't find anyone, so she goes looking, and she finds the two speared through the wall, and that's when Jackson makes his next move. He corners her into a room that looks like a love-making room, and she even offers him to, sexual favors to live, but he doesn't take it. Instead, he kills her, and then dances with her corpse weirdly. And then when he's going to go kill the last one, he realizes she's blind, and she ends up thinking he was her blind date. And he was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go with this, because I've never had a woman, touch me and love me before. She thinks he can't talk, so she thinks they both have disabilities. She can't see, he can't talk. They would make a nice, cute, disabled couple. So she takes him back to her place, and he actually does start talking. And he can talk. He's not a mute like Jason. He can actually talk. And he says that, people think I'm dumb. People think I'm this and that. But he's actually a sophisticated, well-rounded, well-thought-out, well-spoken, smart gentleman type guy. He's not just a mindless brute. He flipped the slasher stereotype on its head. Pretty good inversion of the trope. So she can't see, but he says he's like ugly, and that's why he wears the mask. When she tried to kiss him, but he was wearing the mask, so she was like, "What the?" And he was like, he starts to explain, but then he stops, and then she kisses him, and he takes off his mask, right? And it's his face, man. Now, people on Reddit said he was an undead serial killer, and I think they're implying that maybe here, but he looks normal. He's got flesh-colored skin. He doesn't seem undead. Although, at the end of the movie, he does say he's immortal, so maybe just like Jason, he has a healing factor, and this is like Jason X. He healed to the point where his skin got its color back. I don't know. But his face looks pretty fucked. Looks like he was in an accident. I don't know if he was always deformed or if he got deformed from like an accident. It's hard to tell, but it could be a mix of both. He could be a little deformed, but then all the marks and scars down his face could be from like people cutting him over the years. I don't know. So they kiss and they smash. Holy shit, the killer got laid. They smash, and then he goes into more about his backstory. And of course, Jason parody, he drowned. So he was born in Britain. He says his father was an evil, evil man. His father would beat him and his mother, and he made them move to America. And that's where he like drowned and lived in the woods for like a savage for a few years, surviving off the land and reading books that were left over from counselors leaving stuff behind. Or maybe he killed them and stole them off him. I don't know. But it's at this point I figured it out. The crazy guy at the beginning may have still been talking about Jackson, but I think he was talking about Jackson's father. Because from the way he's describing his father's a real piece of work. But we'll get to him later. So the point is, he tells his story, and, you know, says they could probably never be together. He reaches for a knife, but because she's blind, she doesn't see that. But she says, no, I love you, and yada yada. And he's like, really? So he throws the knife down, actually gives us a chance. And then he quotes a poem from a famous author. And she's like, that's beautiful. And he's like, I know. I love that person. I don't remember who it was. But he was like, this person was so genius, but he was like holding himself back, giving himself limitations. He's like, I don't know what you mean. He's like, he was using outdated phrasing that was even old by his time standards. And it's like, oh yeah. He could have been so much better if he wasn't holding himself back. He's got opinions on things, so does she. They're working out pretty well. They seem like they're getting along. She wants to go on a walk in the park, and he's like, oh, I don't know about that. Because, you know, his ugly face. If he goes without a mask, people are going to be freaked out because they think he's a monster. If he goes with the mask, they're going to make fun of him because, he's a weirdo wearing a mask. What a freak. So he doesn't want to, but eventually she convinces him. But before we get to that scene where they're on a walk, the hell? Thought I heard something. Before we get to that part where they're on a walk, he goes and visits his father, and the corpses of the opening kills are in the house just rotting. His father's just living with that shit? Ew. So that's when him and father talk, and clearly his father's an ass, he's evil. And it's implied that he killed the mom, like the father did. And, man, the father also implies that you can't just quit your life of being a killer. It's in your blood, it's in your genetics, it's who you are. You can't abandon your true self, it's not going to work. You may as well just cut that girl off. He's like, no, father, I don't want to be a killer no more. And the father's like, you can't fight it. He also says something about how he's half human. He got that from his mother's side. And that half human side makes him a weak little bitch. Yeah, his father's an ass. But if he's half human, what's the other half? Is that the half that makes him an undead, immortal serial killer? I was expecting him to be part demon, but the father just says half human, half killer. Like, what the fuck? Killer is its own species now? Maybe in this weird universe, killer is like just a nickname for whatever immortal demonic species these guys are. I'm not sure. But being a killer is a curse. And he should have, when his mom revealed she was pregnant to him, he should have killed her right then and there to prevent him from being born so he wouldn't suffer. But he was a coward and couldn't do it, so now he exists to suffer. It's his biggest mistake. He also says, put the goddamn mask back on. You look ugly as shit. I want to see you. God, this guy's an ass. So then we get to the walk they're having. He said I can't go to the park, so instead they just walk down the streets. I feel like the park would have been better, less people, but whatever. They start getting to know each other, and at one point someone does laugh at him, and she's like, no, it's okay, just ignore them, they're stupid. And he's like, I want to cut their throats. It's like, oh, I got an idea. So she goes to a Halloween store, and she thinks wearing the same mask as him will make him feel better. At first he takes it as an insult, thinking she's making fun of him, but then she's like, no, that's not what I meant. I thought maybe you wouldn't feel so bad if I was also wearing one. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. So then they go to the park. It was a nice little date in the park. It was good. Throughout this movie, I was really hoping he could probably shake being a killer and live a happy life with her. Oh boy, got my hopes up. So next, her friend, another friend of hers, shows up, says you haven't heard from you in a minute, and we're going to invite you and your new man to a party if you want to go see. But hold on, I skipped over something back in the Halloween store. He mentions that you look like, this goalie mask, you look like the guy from that movie, The Hand of Death. And he's like, I am the guy from the movie. And he's like, don't be ridiculous. That's going to be important, so hold on a second. So cut back to the present here. She agrees to go to that party if, Jackson agrees. So as she's leaving, the friend is leaving. Jackson, who was coming, decides to follow the friend. Not sure if he was planning on killing her or just trying to get to know her friends to try to be normal. Well, it doesn't work out, to say the least. When he gets in there, they immediately recognize him as the guy from the movie. So there's movies made about this guy's life in universe. Does he play himself, or is it an actor playing him? They don't make that clear, but it might just be him playing himself, because it's a comedy. Things don't have to make sense. It's got to be funny. So they start heckling him, and instead of talking, he stays silent, I guess because he's nervous, scared. But they start being like dicks. She wants an autograph, even though he politely shook his head, no, I don't want to give an autograph. They try to get him to talk, and he, doesn't, and they start heckling him about it. She, says, I want my damn autograph, and he's like, oh, fine. So he writes something, but she can barely read it, so she gives it to the other guy, and he's like, I will slit your throat. What kind of autograph is that? So it escalates the hell? Anyway, so it escalates further, turns into a fight, and he stabs the guy in the gut with an 8-inch knife and then runs. Luckily for him, he gets away because they don't want to follow him down a dark alley because he's a big guy, he could kill them. So they're like, oh, fuck this, basically. So he gets away with that. So he then goes back to her, and she tells him that, I want to go out to a place with my friends, and you're coming with. He's like, oh, are you sure about that? It's like, yeah. It's like, oh, okay. So they have a nice little dinner scene, which is sweet. It's cute. The hair in my nose. They have a nice romantic, dinner. It's kind of sweet. He can't get he doesn't know how to work the cork opener for the wine bottle, and he accidentally cuts his hand. So then this movie gets fucking freaky. It was already kind of freaky at the beginning with, oh, I forgot to mention, back after the first, sex scene with him and her, she mentioned it's kind of abnormal to be bisexual. So, hey, bisexual reference and representation. Yay. So she's bisexual. Oh, she also said she wasn't always blind. I forgot to mention that. She became blind at 20. She's hoping she can not be blind forever. Oh well. Okay, so now back to the present scene, because this is where the movie gets freaky. She's into some kinky shit. She's wearing something kinky. He's wearing something kinky. He's having trouble getting it up now because he's like nervous, because he's trying to resist his killer urges. But he just can't. Oh crap, when did this happen? I think I may have skipped the scene, but I don't remember. Okay, at some point he kills his father. He goes back to his father and kills him. Rightfully so. He should have done that a long time ago. I don't remember if it was before or after the bar scene. So I'm just mentioning that here. It doesn't matter when it happened. The point is it happened. It doesn't matter when it happened in the movie, so it doesn't matter when I say it. So now let me get back to the freaky scene, because oh my god, she's a freak. He's having trouble getting up because I guess he's got a lot on his mind. He's stressed, and she's like, it's okay, it's okay. So he was like, I don't want to disappoint you. I want to help. She's like, okay. Third drawer, basically. And he gets freaked out by all the, She has a massive dildo. And he's like, you could kill someone with this. And then she has other toys, and it's like, oh my god, you have so many. And she's like, well, I gotta keep myself occupied somehow. And it's like, what about knitting? Or, I don't remember what else he said, but knitting and the other thing he said, that requires sight, dude. I mean, I guess you can knit blind if you know what you're doing, but damn. So he's starting to get overwhelmed, but she's comforting him and guiding him through it, telling him it's okay. I got something else in the closet, and it's a female sex blow-up doll. And he was like, what the? She's like, I sleep with that sometimes. I cuddle with it. It's like, you cuddle? It's a girl. And she's like, so what? Because, she mentioned being bisexual earlier. So then they try to do some kinky stuff with handcuffs. And she's trying to be a dominatrix and get him to beg and be a good boy. Kinky stuff like that with the little whip. But he's just not feeling it. I guess it's just not his kink. So then they switch, and again, he's trying to be a dom, and she's trying to say, I've been a bad girl, you need to punish me. And he doesn't quite know what to do, so she was like, okay, get the book, get the manual, and read from page 42. So they start trying to read the sexy lines, and he's trying to whip her. But again, it's just not him. It's just not for him. So she's like, oh, it's okay. We don't have to do this. We can just cuddle. So then they just cuddle. It was kind of a sweet scene. Freaky, sweet. Freaky, sweet. It was a weird mixed scene. Next. Oh my god. So I think, if I don't remember correctly, but I think this is where he actually killed his father. I'm not sure. I just finished the movie, so I don't remember everything fully. But it's at this point, things seem to be going good. Things seem to be on the up and up. He seems like he's going to be on a good track, but I guess his killer instincts take back over. You would think killing his father would, since his father was abusive, that would be the end of him, but I guess whatever the hell his father was talking about earlier was right. He's just a killer. He's a natural born killer, and he can't escape it. So we cut to the friends from the bar, and they've canceled the party because of the stabbing. So now they're just going to be in the house by themselves. And he decides to go kill them all. He calls her first through a payphone and says, don't go out tonight. Trust me, just don't go out tonight, being very vague with it. And then he hangs up. And then slaughter. Although this time, he's not completely silent throughout the whole thing. He actually, cracks some one-liners and even points out a trope. He kills the one chick. He's like, you don't even bother running. You're just going to get 10, maybe 15 feet before you trip over a rock or branch. And then that exactly thing happens. He's like, I told you. He also mentioned that I may be a killer, but I have other talents too. Such a shame that this is what I'm reduced to. He's talking about how he's a killer, but it hurts him to be a killer as much as it hurts her to be killed. Something like deep like that. So he kills them off one by one. There was a pointless subplot that didn't go anywhere about one of the guys being an actor and trying to get a role in like Hamlet. And he was, I don't know, it doesn't matter because he dies, so the plot is pointless, doesn't go anywhere. So I didn't mention it, but the guy that got stabbed, who's still recovering from his stab wounds, starts walking in the woods reciting his lines, and he trips him and says, "You're an awful actor," basically is what he says, and then kills him. That's the last death that's like worth mentioning, because the rest of the kills, he doesn't like say anything, he's just silent until the last kill. So the last kill, which was the friend that initially invited Shelly, I forgot to mention the girlfriend's name this whole time, Shelly. The girl that invited Shelly in the first place is the last one to die. She gets chased and she hides in the bathtub where another one of her friends was in there with a meat cleaver in her face. So she takes the cleaver out and tries to fight back. But he catches it, and I don't remember what he says, but he says something and then kills her. I think he said something like it seems pointless, like this whole thing seems pointless. I don't remember. So then after that, he goes back to her, and they have a nice little chat by the fire. And he's saying that as much as I love you, I can't stay with you. It just wouldn't work. And you wouldn't understand why. And, he's trying to break it off, but also let her know that he still loves her. He's like, I can't tell you everything about me because I don't want to expose you to my evil or whatever he says. And she's like, no, I'll understand. I want to be with you forever. And that's when she drops the bombshell of, I'm pregnant. And he says, no, I can't bring a child into this and have him suffer like I have. Basically the same mistake his father made with him. Although unlike his father who chickened out, because I guess he's, loved her, didn't want to kill her or something. A moment of weakness, his father put it. This is where the ending is kind of sad. So he's like, I'm happy, but do you trust me? And she's like, yes, I trust you. Then forgive me. And he cuts her throat and she dies. So then the ending of the movie is him walking down the street. Then he collapses to his knees at the movie theater where we see The Hand of Death, Part 26, Jackson's Return. And he's just saying, no. Now, I don't know if he's saying no because they're making another movie about him, or if he's saying no because he just killed the one he loved. So he's doomed to be alone. He also, this is where he mentioned, the immortal thing, which I guess he is undead. Either he was undead or just naturally immortal. I'm not sure which. But he was like, would you like to be immortal? And she's like, yeah, I would like to be immortal. And he's like, no, you wouldn't like to be immortal. It sucks. And she's like, oh, but I'd be immortal with you. And it's like, Well, it doesn't matter. That's where the movie ends. I watched through to see if there was an after credits scene. There wasn't really. There was like a movie logo that had like a little animation, but it's not an after credits scene really. So that's the end of the movie. The ending was a bit of a bummer, but the movie was pretty good. The effects looked good for, what they were. It's a cheap horror movie. It's low budget, so don't expect high quality, but for what they were pretty good. I think they were pretty good. Favorite kill? Nothing too spectacular. I guess I might go with the death of the father. It was a skull crush. I love those. and for some reason, one of the father's eyes popped, and the eyelid was opening and closing, and it looked like a mouth spitting blood. I don't know what the fuck that was about, but that was pretty cool. That was unique and freaky, disturbing. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to that. If I'm gonna pull a dead meat here, I give the golden chainsaw to the dad's death. Doll machete for lamest kill would probably be the friend that got killed at the end of the slaughter. I think she just got strangled by a shower curtain in the bathtub next to the other dead friend. That's kind of lame. A miscellaneous thing to mention is during the kill with the girl who tripped, he killed her with a pitchfork. When he stabbed her gut, it kind of looked like jam or jelly coming out of her torso area. That was weird. So the cheapness of the film showed there. But I'm not going to knock it too much. All in all, I'll give this movie a 7 or 8 out of 10. Like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's not a fantastic movie either. It's just a decent movie. It's good. It's great. It's not great, but it's good. So I'm not going to go any higher than an 8. 9 to 10s get reserved for great, great movies. I'd recommend this movie. It's definitely never going to get a sequel, but it would be cool if it did. I would love to see a sequel. It's not going to happen, though. I'd love to see him cross over with Jason. See Jason versus Jackson. That'd be pretty funny. But yeah, that's all there is. That's all there is to this movie. It doesn't overstay its welcome or understay its welcome. The ending was sad, but I get it. I get why he did what he did and why he had to do it. He didn't want another kid to be suffering with the same curse as him. He desperately did not want to be a killer, but he just can't stop. It's a part of his core. That's tragic, actually. It's a curse. He's doomed to be immortal. But his father implied that being immortal killers was in the blood, and his father was killed by him. So, is he truly immortal? Could he just find a way to, himself, get someone else to him? Unless his son is actually truly immortal like Jason after part 6. Now that he's undead, he can't ever actually be killed no matter what. He'll always come back. I don't know. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Nah, I'm joking. Like I said earlier, 7 to 8. I'm gonna go with 8 out of 10, final answer. So yeah, that was one movie from the Reddit that I seen. Now I have to check out more. Maybe I'll do reviews for all of them. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I might keep you guys updated on me and my girlfriend's journey. We're 4 movies in. She technically already watched the 4th one, but she didn't pay much attention the first time. She has ADHD. So she wanted to watch it again, so we did. And she liked it. At first she said the second one was her favorite, and then the third one. But then she said she doesn't have a preference now. She just likes them all, so I guess that's fair. Next time is going to be part 5. I wonder how she's going to feel about this. I've been avoiding spoilers for part 5 since the beginning of the year. Trying not to spoil and reveal that Jason's not the killer in that movie, and I wonder how she's going to react. I wonder if she's going to be like, meh, or if she's going to be like, oh. I guess we'll wait. I guess we'll see. We'll find out. I wonder if she's going to like Roy Burns or not. We'll see. And again, I don't know if I'm going to show her this movie. Hopefully, if I don't mention it anymore, maybe she'll forget about it and move on. But we'll see. After we get through all the main 12 movies, I'm going to show her a bunch of short films. And then we're going to watch the TV show when it comes out in October. That's going to be fun. Anyway, See you guys next time. Peace.